We understand that behavior is communication, and sometimes the most profound truths are whispered not by the lips, but by a subtle shift in demeanor. Imagine a relationship as a well-calibrated machine. It runs on predictable behavioral patterns, shared routines, mutual intimacy, and consistent communication. But what happens when a major secret, like infidelity, is introduced? It's like pouring sand into the gears. The system struggles, and the stress of the line manifests as observable, measurable behavioral changes. Today, we're not talking about judgment or accusation. We're applying the principles of ABA to identify these disruptive behavioral contingencies, the patterns that signal a need for an open, honest, and perhaps difficult conversation. We're looking for the functional relationship between the internal conflict and the external display. In ABA, we view behavior as being maintained by its consequences. Lying is a behavior, and in this context, the consequence is the temporary avoidance of confrontation or relationship collapse. However, the internal guilt and stress serve as powerful antecedents for new, often erratic behaviors. We are looking for a pattern of change, not isolated incidents. A single bad mood is not a signal. A consistent, persistent alteration in the established baseline behavior of the relationship is. Let's analyze the key behavioral shifts through an ABA lens, focusing on how internal guilt, or the maintenance of the lie, functions to change overt actions. 1. The fluctuation in affection. Excessive affection or attentiveness can function as a reinforcer for the partner and an escape behavior for the individual as they are trying to make up for the action, momentarily reducing their own feelings of guilt. It's a sudden, uncharacteristic increase in the frequency and intensity of positive behaviors. 2. Avoidance of intimacy. A significant reduction in physical intimacy, a core component of the relationship's baseline, often functions as aversion. The individual may avoid intimacy due to guilt, fear of close confrontation, or simply a change in their reinforcement value for intimacy with the current partner. 3. Shift in attitude and conflict escalation. Increased annoyance or picking fights, this behavior functions as a distancing mechanism. By constantly picking small arguments, the individual is subconsciously attempting to make the partner seem like the bad guy, providing an internal justification for their own actions. The frequency of aversive stimuli, arguments, in the relationship dramatically increases. 4. Secretiveness and vague communication. When asked about their whereabouts, answers become increasingly non-specific, functioning as an escape route from providing concrete, verifiable details. Look for a change in the specificity and detail of their verbal behavior. Secretive phone use, changing passwords, keeping the phone physically close. This is a clear operant behavior aimed at preventing the antecedent, that's you seeing the screen, which would lead to the consequence, the lie being exposed. 5. Defensive or overly emotional reactions. When confronted, the individual's reaction is disproportionately strong, including anger, crying, and defensiveness. This functions as a deflection tactic. It serves as an abolishing operation for the confrontation itself, shifting the focus to the partner's behavior and terminating the line of questioning. 6. Projecting guilt. The classic move, accusing the partner of cheating. This is a projection defense mechanism, and behaviorally, it functions to immediately shift the focus of attention and put the partner on the defensive, providing a powerful distraction from the individual's own actions. 7. Absent future talk. In a committed relationship, discussing the future is a form of positive reinforcement for both partners. If an individual stops using we or us in future planning, it signals a devaluation of the current relationship's long-term reinforcement potential. 8. The function of intuition. From an ABA standpoint, intuition is a summary of the subtle, nonverbal cues we unconsciously track. You are noticing a breakdown in the established behavioral contingencies and the lack of authenticity in communication, which signals an emotional disconnect. Trust the data your brain is collecting. Observing these behavioral shifts can be profoundly painful. Remember, these are not proof, they are indicators, a strong signal that the relationship's behavioral equilibrium has been shattered. Our goal is not to convict, but to restore honest communication. If you are seeing a cluster of these behavioral changes, the most skillful response is not accusation, but skillful communication based on your internal state, not her presumed action. The strategy: I statements and open inquiry. Instead of, "You are distant and secretive because you're lying," use I statements that describe your observation and emotional state, linking her behavior, the antecedent, to your feeling, the consequence. I have been observing a significant decrease in the affection and open communication we once shared, and I am feeling a profound distance between us lately. I am worried about the state of our connection, and I need to understand what is causing this shift. This approach focuses on your experience, making the conversation less immediately defensive and opening the door for her to disclose the true function of her changed behavior. If you have recognized these shifts, you are now equipped with knowledge, not just suspicion. Knowledge is power, but only when you act on it decisively and skillfully. Don't let the fear of confirmation prevent you from seeking clarity. Allowing a lie to continue is allowing the relationship to be built on an increasingly unstable, inauthentic foundation. You owe it to your own emotional well-being to address the cause of this disruption. The final operant response I urge you to make is this: schedule the conversation. Use the I statement technique to reestablish the baseline of honest communication. Whether the outcome is painful or restorative, only through authentic verbal behavior can you protect your heart and establish the true future of your relationship. Act today to restore integrity, for your own peace of mind depends on it.